of Pinch of Basile. I am your wonderful host, Basile. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are doing great. I am here with my co-host, Janice Hermson, and our chief engineer, Christian Meyer, listen, how the hell are we going to do the show without him, for God's sakes? Let's be honest. Don't forget, we are live streaming on Facebook. You can also listen in the TuneIn app on the phone or any phone or device. Once you have the app, just search America Matters. That's all you got to do. Go to America Matters, all right? If you're on the computer, go to americamatters.us. Find us, then like our show. That's all you got to do. Listen to it. It's a pinch of Basile. That's all you got to do. We want to hear from you. So go to my Basile fans page on Facebook, BASILEFANS, and like me. And we stream the show live right now. We have people watching. Hi, April. How you doing? Hey, Avram, Maria. I got to go back to your show if you guys don't mind. And if you have any questions, listen.
You mean you're doing a show now? Is that what is happening here?
Yeah, call me crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if you have any questions, just give us a call at 844-790-8255, 844-790-8255. You can also text the wonderful Janice Hermson. Janice, can you give him that number, please?
Sure. That would be 775-237-2266.
We can be heard all over in Reno, believe it or not, on KCKQ. That's KCKQ 1180 on your AM dial. And around the world, including on Greek Beat Radio.
Greek Beat Radio.
The money that we spend on our effects, folks, we don't screw around. Talk about my wonderful guest. Let me tell you about my wonderful guest. Ken Kamen wrote this wonderful book called Don't Let Technology Crack Your Nest Egg. Okay, do you see this right here? Can you see that? Can you see that?
Can you see that? I can't see it. Can you see it?
Yeah.
I can see it.
It's actually unbelievable. It's a great book. Got a chance to read through it, and got some great questions. We've got a great guest. He's going to be coming on. And then as far as shows, folks, we are now doing because people have been busting my chops for corporate shows and doing private shows and church shows because I do this grown-up Greek in America thing. So what we have done, we have now created the Basile's interactive virtual comedy concerts that we'll be doing. I'll explain it all. I can't give it all away because everyone's going to try and do it immediately. Put a lot of work and effort trying to create this. We can up to 500 people that we can get in on these concerts. So call. Well, don't even call. The only thing I want you to do is go to Basile booking at basilelive.com. That's BASILE booking BOOKING at basilelive.com. Fill out that little thing. We'll have someone give you a call, and trust me, you'll be amazed how we did this. It's a complete interactive comedy show. It's a concert. When you start doing 500 and 1,000 and all that, they're concerts. And that's what we've done. I want to do something special. A lot of people are doing the drive-in thing, which is great. But you can do these shows anytime, anywhere around the world. Maybe in Australia, South Africa, maybe all throughout Europe, throughout the UK, Greece, Cyprus, wherever the case may be, here in North America, Canada, here. Folks, it's unbelievable the way we did this, and I'm very, very excited. To be honest with you, it's something I'm kind of really, jazzed about. And I don't know, Janice, I know that you were too when I told you how this whole thing works. And you were like,
Yeah, I was ready to find somebody. Yeah, I really was. I thought that I could hook you up with some folks.
Yeah, we got to do some shows because, and it's going to be perhaps the new way of actually entertaining people, to be quite honest with you.
For a while, huh?
And, for a while. Listen, there's nothing like a live performance. Christian, you ever see me perform live?
I haven't. I'm waiting for you to come out here to the west side of the States.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, count yourself lucky that you haven't gone through that hell. So the thing is, no, I want you to see this.
Hey, I've seen you live, and you made me laugh.
Did I make you laugh?
You
They're
did.
very difficult.
You did.
Listen, you're tough to make laugh. You're too serious for me. You are too serious for me. You're going to sit there like,
what can I say?
Oh, that was interesting. Yes.
Well, at least you know it's honest. If I laugh, you know it's honest.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. I started laughing because I'm like, when I did see you give me a belly laugh, I'm like, all right, finally, she's human. Okay.
Yes, she is. So, believe it or not.
Yes, she is. And I'm very, very pleased with it. And of course, you can always catch us on the Basile Fun Hour that we do every Friday on Facebook Fans. We do that, and that goes viral as well. I think we have close to 4,000 views from our last show we did last Friday. A lot of fun. And to be honest with you, it's an honor to do this. And not only that, but you know what, Janice? I've actually included the Basile blog blurb.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, of course. That's why we just call it the triple B.
Yeah, okay? I like the triple B.
Yeah, triple B is great. Basile blog blurb. And what I want you to do, read it. Go to basilelive.com, BASILELIVE.com. Check us out and see what we do with our blog. I think you'll find it interesting, but having a hurricane and an earthquake that you're right in the middle. Those were the bookends for my week last week. So it was a little bit crazy to say the least. And so I got to tell you, I'm very, very excited. We got some fun stuff coming up in the next segment. And, of course, don't forget, the bottom of the hour, we got Ken Kamen, who will be joining us with his wonderful book, Don't Let Technology Crack Your Nest Egg. But besides that, Janice, I got to be honest with you. It's good to be back on the air, to be honest with you. It really, really is. Between the hurricane, where we couldn't get back because we had no electricity here at the office, and then, a couple of weeks ago when we had issues, it was just too much to deal with. But, it's good to be back in front of all you live. And, we're going to have more on this wonderful show we call The Pinch of Basile. We're going to be back after these messages. And these messages are what really keeps our show together. They pay the bills. So we're going to be right back after those things that pay the bills with more of A Pinch of Basile.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Now back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back. You're listening to A Pinch of Basile. I am your host with the most. I am Basile. How you guys doing out there? Glad to have you back. Glad to be back after the hurricane and then earthquake.
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Here we were, you and I were talking about the fact that you experience hurricanes and we experience earthquakes. And then you got both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All both.
Welcome to our world.
Week. Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Folks, you can always find us on Basile Fans, BASILEFANS, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Make sure you join us. Join the club. Like us. Come on. I'm waiting on you. And listen, of course, you can go to my website at Basile Live, BASILELIVE.com, and check us out there. Check out the new segment we have, the Basile Blog Blurb. So I want you to come. It's called the Triple B. And mention our wonderful simulcast people that work with us, not only on AmericaMatters.us, but also Greek Beat Radio, baby.
Greek Beats Radio. Greek Beats Radio. Greek Beats Radio. Beats Radio.
That's right. My God. I love that. I really do. And this for all the fans out there who are watching me in Australia, in South Africa, in Europe, and throughout the UK and France and Germany, going down to Greece and to Cyprus. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions for me, just give us a call, 844-790-8255. That's 844-790-8255. Or text us. And again, what is that magical text number, Janice?
That would be 775-237-2266.
Yes, indeed. Folks, there are hundreds, strange but true facts out there that will shock you. Literally shock you.
I have to challenge that. Not sure they'll shock you, but
No. You may drive off the road.
Oh.
If you hear this, if you're driving
that
right
good?
now. Yeah. You may drive off the road. Shock you.
Shock you. Remember that. Shock you.
Do you know that Donkey Kong got his name because his creator believed that donkey meant stupid in English and wanted to convey the impression that the character was a stupid ape.
I did not know that. That's shocking.
I hope we didn't cause any accidents with that. Because I would feel terrible.
I don't think so.
Because there's some guy going, no.
Yeah, you're stretching now, bud. You're stretching on that one.
No.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, I'm telling you, did you know that in South Korea, there is an emergency number, 113, to turn in spies?
Everybody has to turn in a spy, right? I mean,
I always thought so.
I did too. Yeah, I was certain of that.
Do we have anything like that here in the United States to turn in spies?
Christian.
Just make sure you don't call 911. They won't appreciate it.
There's a sign.
Isn't there like a 211 or something that you can call here for something?
Yeah, you would actually think there's something out there.
Know. Yeah. Not for spies, though. We don't do spies.
811 is called before you dig.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about
actually,
that
yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
611 is with AT&T if you want to pay your bill. And I know that because I had to do that.
I gotcha.
Do you know? Then this is going to really cause a lot of people harm as they're. Please put down any type of utensils or anything that you can possibly. If you're eating something right now, put it down. As I mentioned this, did you know that there is a McDonald's in every continent except Antarctica?
Wow.
Uh-huh.
That's all I can say. Wow.
Absolutely. These are things that are very important that you should be watching and knowing about. No.
And you know at least half of them already, even before you read this article, right? Yeah, there's something wrong with you.
I dare people to blindfold themselves and actually taste different types of Fruit Loops. And you know why? You cannot differentiate the various colors because guess why, Janice?
Because they all taste the same.
My God. Next thing you know, you're going to tell me that. How do you do it? How do
I don't know.
you do it?
I don't know.
You're unbelievable. You truly are unbelievable. The television was invented only 2 years after the invention of sliced bread.
I want to know if that one's real.
Of course it's real. If it's on this page that I'm reading from, it's got to be real. Janice, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you.
I know.
You're slipping.
I'm a doubter. Doubting Thomas, that's me. Oh, wait. Doubting Janice, right?
Yeah, doubting Janice, indeed. 8 of the 10 largest statues in the world are of Buddhas and, more importantly, have not been torn down.
You put that in. I like it.
They tried to tear it down, but it just won't go. Buddha.
You're going to be in trouble for that. Send your emails to Basile at.
All letters of complaint. Yes. Let me see. A fortune cookie company called Wonton Foods. Where do they come up with that?
Yeah, what a great name.
Yeah, Wonton Foods correctly foretold a lottery number. Are you listening to this?
I am.
Foretold a
yes.
lottery resulting in 110 winners. An investigation was done. No fraud was involved.
Oh, see there?
Uh-huh.
How about that?
So evidently, trying to tear down a Buddha is going to, give you a little bit of fortune. That's what I'm saying. Rub the tummy, get something there. Okay, let me see. Tigers. Now this is one I did not know. Tigers have striped skin, not striped fur, and the stripes are like fingerprints. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
I did not know. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's the same for zebras. With zebras, if you shave them down or whatever.
No idea. Never
kind of
never did that.
Yeah, nor did I. If you die in Amsterdam, which I kind of love this one, with no next of kin, and no friends or family to prepare a funeral or mourn over the body. A poet will write a poem for you and recite it at your funeral.
I kind of like that one too.
Especially if you live in Nantucket.
You beat me to it.
Yeah, I figured you were going to be right there with it.
There you go.
Let me see. The man who found the 5,000-year-old corpse, and I think it's Ötzi the Iceman in 1991, oldest natural European mummy, was also found dead frozen in ice in 2004. Believe it or not.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that?
No.
The man finds a frozen body, 5,000-year-old corpse, frozen. 10 years later, he dies, frozen in 2004.
That seems a bit suspicious to me.
I think so. And to be honest with you, I think the mummy came back, because I've watched these movies. I think the mummy came.
That was it. That was it.
That was stupid. All right. Okay. The collar. Now, this I did not know. The collars on men's dress shirts used to be detachable. Now, I knew that. But the reason why, it was to save on laundry costs, as the collar was the part that needed cleaning the most.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. That's
I
very
know
interesting.
That.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I knew
either.
they were detachable, but
Yeah.
the rest of it, I had no idea.
How about the Himalayan honeybee? The largest of honeybees makes a hallucinogenic honey that tribes collect. Did you know that? I didn't know there was any such thing as a hallucinogenic honey.
You were looking for it, though.
This explains a lot. For years I've been trying to smoke this stuff.
That's the problem.
I became a diabetic.
Oh boy.
Nothing.
Oh boy. Nothing going on there. Nope.
Okay. All right. Alligators will give manatees the right of way if they are swimming near each other. Well, of course, manatee will step on an alligator and kill it. All right, let me see what else we got. You have any that you like?
Well, how about the one that in 2005, Mark Zuckerberg unsuccessfully tried to sell Facebook for $75 million?
$75 million, yeah.
But then it was called The Facebook.
Actually, in the movie, they made a thing about that where they actually wound it. And they said, the guy who actually took him to the next step to Facebook, he goes, take the out of it, THE. And I'm like, really? And all of a sudden, it was worth billions after that.
I don't get that.
So from now on, instead of me being called the Basile,
it's just going to be Basile.
Basile.
Just plain old
What
Basile.
do you think?
It's probably better.
I think
that'll shoot you to the top.
That works for me.
That's it.
The Basile, no more. Basile. Bam. Just like
there
that.
You have it. There you have it.
Well, you know what? It's difficult to be me and be genius with all these ideas. And then the last one I got to say, Rowan Atkinson, also known as Mr. Bean, was actually the voice of Zazu in The Lion King.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No.
Zazu. He talk like this, Zazu. I actually know the Zazu that plays in The Lion King on Broadway. A good friend of mine was in my TV show, The Basile Show. But anyway, folks, listen, we're going to be right back after these messages. When we bring our wonderful guest, Ken Kamen, will be with us after these messages. Stick around.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Oh, we are indeed back with you on A Pinch of Basil. Call us at 844-790-8255. If you want to chime in, that includes our audience from Greek Beat Radio.
Oh, not ready for you yet. Hold on.
Mother
Here it comes. There we go.
Greek Beat Radio. Beat Radio.
Well, I'll tell you, your timing is impeccable.
It was good. It was the good one. I like that one.
I like that one indeed. Absolutely. Folks, you can also text us. Janice, what is that text number?
That number is 775-237-2266.
And you can also get a hold of us here on Facebook. That's right. If you go to Facebook at Basile Fans, you can ask any questions to our wonderful guest who just joined us. And I just found out he's from New York, Ken Kamen. Ken, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Let me read a little bit about this bio here you got. With nearly 3 decades of experience in the securities and personal finance industries, Ken is a nationally recognized financial expert and advisor and author of the highly acclaimed book from Bloomberg Press, Reclaim Your Nest Egg. Take control of your financial future now from select books. Don't let technology crack your nest egg. For his expertise on how Wall Street and Main Street intersect and other financial matters, Ken is frequently quoted on national media, such as the Wall Street Journal, USA Today, Forbes, Fortune, and BusinessWeek, and is often invited to appear on CNBC, NBC, ABC, Fox, PBS, and other national local broadcasts. Today, he's joining us on A Pinch of Basile. Ken, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, as I say.
Brother, so you mentioned the World's Fair in 1965, that technology back then, everyone was shoved into a room. Tell them the story.
I remember I was about 5 years old, and we waited online to get into this booth so my family could call my grandparents with a touch-tone phone that had a speaker on it. And people were waiting online to get into this booth so they didn't have to do a rotary dial. So, talk about the arc of technology.
No two ways about it. Do you know what it's like calling the child abuse hotline on a rotary phone? That's all I'm going to say. Okay. By the time I was done with all the zeros, they found the phone, where, and my parents were very, very clever how to insert it. So it was really, really, yeah. I try to tell my kids, that a technology moves so quickly that once you learn how to do one app, there's another app to take its place that is much more technologically savvy. And they goes, well, what was your technology? I said, honest to God, our technology, when I learned how to use a Selectric typewriter, and as a ball player, all my fingers were broken. And I was playing with broken fingers, but you made these splints that you can get away with. And I remember my type teacher would just say, do the best you can. I'll give you an A this quarter, but you got to make up for it. Sure, not a problem. And then the other one, that was a Selectric IBM actual typewriter, and the other was the rotary phone going to the push button phone. And that was it. You're talking about things. And when I read your book in the introduction that you did, and I give you a lot of kudos, my friend, because when you started in the industry and you were a broker and you started going ahead and actually writing form letters directly to the people that you were dealing with as follow-ups, I thought that was fantastic. And for the time, everyone thought you the man.
Back then, the only way to do a letter that didn't look like dot matrix was you had to get a pinwheel printer, and the thing was louder than a jackhammer. So I couldn't do it in the office during the day. So I'd have to go in at night to run these letters that I were running, to send out to people. But it is interesting because, you touched on talking to your kids. When I was in college, I took computer science, and our final was that we had to make a punch card. And if the punch card ran the program, the simple flowchart program, you passed. You got an A, because if you didn't do it right, it was binary. It worked or it didn't work. And think about that in terms of today and how fast technology is changing. I do a whole chapter about education and how it's never been easier to increase your skills in today's world with technology. And think about if my education stopped with punch cards in college, where would I be today? And we all have to be continuous learners. I mean, we all have to say that whatever we know today, one way or another, is going to be obsolete going forward. Because think about your phone. ISO 2 goes to 10, goes to 15. Windows 8 goes to 10 to 12. We're always going to be rookies having to learn everything. And there's hardly any job that isn't technology related. I don't care whether you work in a fast food company now where you're putting everything in on the screen, or you're on an assembly line where you have to program things that go through. You need to be lifelong learners, and technology is great because it's allowed people to learn new skills. But people have to recognize that if they waste their time just playing computer games all the time or trying to just spend on Instagram and using all this COVID time to just kind of mush up their brain instead of increasing their skills, they're hurting their nest egg for the long term.
There's no two ways. I mean, what you said, listen, don't get me wrong. I play video games, but my wife never allowed me to get a PS4 or any of that stuff. She just won't let me do it. And I complained, and I think it's grounds for divorce, but that's me, okay? So I have always wanted to I always tell people, I'm an old dog, but I still like to learn new tricks. And I think some of the things, if you want to use the social outlets, maybe Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and anything else that's out there, you got to learn how to use it, especially if you're in the job like I am. You're appealing to a worldwide audience, and my audience goes from the womb to the tomb. So you got to be able to deal old time type of technology, get to the old people, and then the new stuff that you can get to the kids. Very difficult to do. Tell me, I mean, some of the questions that I have, and because I've been going through this, and Janice has been fantastic. But in your book, you talk about transitions. And the non-technology to nothing, we went from non-technology to nothing but full-scale technology. And in a brief overview, where do you think we stand right now? And by the way, I loved how you tore, because I am Greek, how you used the word technology being a Greek word, or when someone wants to know what kind of skills you have, they call it techni. In Greek, what kind of a skill set do you have? So techni is what you use, and I was real proud of you. Thank you. Very good. That's very good.
I'm glad I made you proud. We can end it now. It's downhill from here. You're already proud.
I'm done. Good night. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Ken, tell us, how are we doing now?
Well, when you say where we are now, I start the book off with an epiphany that I had driving to work one morning. There was a flock of geese crossing the road, and everyone had to stop. And it dawned on me that geese are like one of nature's most amazing things. They could fly at like 50,000 feet for 5,000 miles. They migrate. They know where they're going. They go back to where they were born. Yet evolution didn't prepare them to crossing a black asphalt road. The most dangerous thing they could do is cross a road because they're not in tune to that. Well, as humans, it's kind of the same thing with the digital superhighway. We were all born to be in the physical world where, we could see danger, we touch things, we know what's going on. But in the digital world, we have no idea the dangers that lurk, and we're so unprepared. And I think we're at the spot now where people have to start getting educated about this kind of ephemeral world. We all know that when we walk around down in the city anywhere, we don't go down dark alleys. We don't hang our credit card numbers off of our chests. But meanwhile, in the digital world, we hang out with the most nefarious people. We're quick to throw our credit card information into the web, and we're telling the web things that we wouldn't even tell someone on a 17th date. We're just putting so much information out there about ourselves, and we have to become a much better steward of our digital footprint, because the reality of it is we don't really control our lives anymore when it comes to money. What controls our lives is our passwords and our usernames and all the things that we enable programs to do on our behalf. And think about that. If, God forbid, something happened to you, poof, today, would your wife, family, or loved ones know where to pick up? The fact that you're probably paying, for the garbage to be picked up and Spotify and how many, accounts with your credit card and your points, and think of all the things that are in your brain and all being managed by your kind of avatar. And we all have to recognize that that's caused us, to answer your question very specifically, we're at the crossroads now of having to manage ourselves from the physical us to the kind of virtual us. And if we don't do that effectively, it's going to have potentially bad ramifications for your financial health down the road.
Yeah, there's no two ways about it. You're absolutely correct. I'm always careful, and I think most people are careful, but there's a lot of people who will put information, and I'm even afraid to give my password to, I had social guys come in here and try and help me out with some of the things that needed to be done. And I'm always concerned, well, what's your password? I really don't want to give you my password. You come here and I'll open up my system for you, and then we'll go from there. And they're like, okay.
But that's kind of, personal safety 101. We all know that. But now as we're giving out more and more information to the ether, I call it digital exhaust. We give off so much digital exhaust that we're getting companies and institutions pressing our buttons that we never had before. Imagine going into a mall, wherever you live, and every store in that mall only sold stuff you were interested in, that there was nothing in that mall that wasn't of potential interest to you. Well, in a way, we're giving up so much information and metadata about ourselves that our computer is becoming this amazing mall that everything that's being served up to us is being served up because of who the algorithms decided we are. So we're giving up our privacy, not by letting people see our password. Now that we're home in COVID and we're shopping and we're buying our groceries and we're buying our clothes and maybe where our waistlines are going up or down because we're home, we're putting out so much metadata about ourselves that marketers know how to use that to press our buttons. And we need to be very aware of that. So we're not going to not buy things. And it's in many ways a benefit that we're getting observed things that we care about, but we better recognize that they're pushing our buttons.
And I'm going to hold on while pushing buttons. We got to push a button right now, do a break, and we're going to be right back after these messages with our good guest, Ken Kamen. Thanks, Ken. Hold on, we'll go.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now, back to the show.
Oh, so glad you can join us. You are listening to A Pinch of Basile. I'm here with Ken Kamen, who's a guy from New York. And I really dig. I got to be honest with you. He started talking about the 1965 World's Fair. My mother had me on a leash. Evidently, she thought I was a dog, and she was actually taking me around. And we saw. It's kind of still cool to see the old pavilions and stuff like that.
I actually think I saw you and made fun of you. I think I saw you.
Yeah, I was the one urinating on one of the trees that my mom was walking.
I saw that. Yeah, that was you.
That was me. I don't want to brag. It was a long time. But Ken, you and I were talking while we were off air, and you were talking about this aspirational consumerism. Tell our people that are listening right now all around the world on americamatters.us and Greek Beat Radio and everything else, what exactly that is, because we have a worldwide audience, and they need to know about this.
So it kind of all started really in people's minds with, lifestyles of the rich and famous. Robin Leach would tell you how the life rich and famous lived, and we would kind of create this envy. We all wanted that type of thing. And what we've now, technology has allowed us to all broadcast everything we're doing if we want to do it. Everywhere we go, selfies. The selfie stick is the biggest thing. People actually die. More people die from taking selfies than shark bites. I mean, but we're all afraid of sharks. We're not afraid of selfie sticks. Just recently, someone fell off a canyon wall taking a selfie at the Grand Canyon. We're all trying to produce an image of ourselves and put it out there on Instagram, Facebook, and all these other services.
Right.
Say, this is the cool life that we're having. So when you have 400 people in your Facebook group, let's say, on any given Tuesday night, there's going to be a dozen of them out at a nice restaurant, which is going to leave you feeling like you're home. Wait a minute, Jake's out eating steak and I'm in here eating hamburger helper. So you say, I'm going to go out. I deserve it. I work hard. I'm going to deserve it. And you wind up kind of spending money to present an image of yourself out there, which, may or may not do you any good. But the reality of it is people's budgets are really being extended by spending money that they probably shouldn't, just trying to produce this television show called the Me TV.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct.
Look at the Kardashians. This whole thing of influencers. The most effective thing in marketing now is influencers. Influencers aren't the traditional marketing, but if they can get someone that is deemed an influencer to use a product, that product sales tick up and they make millions of dollars. It's really wild. You look at things like Lori Loughlin, whose daughter, with the whole scandal, she was trying to get her daughter into a school to go to a communications program. The kid could have taught the program. Supposedly, from what I read, I'm no expert here. I don't know any more than anyone else, but it said she lost $2 million in contracts because of that. And the kid wasn't even in college yet. She could have been teaching the courses. So we have to recognize that we're getting influenced by things that never used to be a thing. And if we all don't become aware of that, the money that's going to be sucked out of our wallets and our purses is going to be substantial. And over a lifetime, you need that in retirement because we don't have a safety net stake anymore, safety net for retirement. So we're all responsible, and things we spend now, we're not going to have for later.
So true. So true. Is there any words of wisdom that you can give tips to my listeners and viewers to protect our privacy? What can we do?
Well, one of it is be aware. I mean, there are things like going on a VPN, a virtual private network. So that'll stop a lot of ads following you because you can go on kind of anonymously on the web. But the number one thing you do is you just need to be aware. And the more you're aware and the more you're ready, I know what's happening now. My hot button is about to be pressed. You're better off to do that. I mean, when we're all out in the world, we already know when we're going to be conned. We already know when someone, feel it doesn't feel right. We have to develop those senses about us. And I don't want to kind of tease the book as blatantly as I'm going to, but that's what I explore that, in the book about what techniques you can do to kind of start becoming much more aware of these types of things. As I said before to you in the break, that one of the things, the dangers of the web is that there is tremendously complex things being masqueraded as tremendous one-click simplicity. Things like WebMD, you have 3 symptoms, you put it in, and next thing you know, it's diagnosing, and everything leads to cancer on the web, crying out loud. So
no, not for me, Ken, not for me. I was 7 months pregnant.
Wow.
But with twins. With twins. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Mazel tov, Basile. That's wonderful. Yes, that's great. Ken, let me ask you, when you work with clients, are they motivated, or are they so attached to that they got to do this? They got to jump on it. They feel that urge. Because we all know there's a sickness right now that people are actually getting looked at because they're so involved with the computer and they're so involved with games. And you talk about that in your book as well. Is there anything that you can give advice to your clients that, what do you tell them? What do you tell them if they can't stop?
Well, one of the things that were happening now is everyone's kind of becoming this home trader. They're all, trading because there's, commissions are, come to zero, and it's never been easier to buy stocks. And it's also been never easier to blow up your entire financial future. People are making rookie mistakes that stockbrokers used to make, when they first started in the business, but then it took years to understand not to do those things. So I think it's really important to recognize that the web is basically made for one-size-fits-many solutions. And it's possible to do a lot of homework and to find out who you are, but we tend not to do it. Listen, how many people go past the first 1 or 2 pages on a Google search? Usually on a Google search, the things that aren't optimized, that aren't there because some advertiser paid to get keywords in your face or an ad, are in the 4th, 5th, or 8th pages that come from more scholarly documents that end in .org or .edu, but no one ever gets to those. So many times, the first answer is usually the one that's optimized by someone trying to sell you something. Try to keep
true.
And then the other type of things is that in my industry, there's a lot of calculators out there that are designed basically to put you in the middle of the bell curve so they could sell you some one-size-fits-many solution. So one of the things I talk about in the book is a lot of they do these risk tolerance questionnaires. You fill out these 20 questions and we'll know who you are as an investor and we can give you this bespoke thing. Well, I bet you if they filled up Yankee Stadium with the people that answered the questions, those 20 questions exactly like you did, you wouldn't look around and think anyone looked like their situation was the same as yours. And it's those types of things that, people just have to recognize. And I try to counsel people all the time that, make sure you understand what you're owning. People, I don't want to get too wonky, but people will buy the S&P 500 mutual funds or exchange traded funds. As the name says, you're buying a fund that supposedly owns 500 securities. What most people don't realize is 25% of all that money goes into 10 or 15 names, and the top 50 names get more than 50 cents of every dollar. So you're really not diversified in 500 companies. You're diversified in 50 companies, and then the other 50 cents gets 450 companies. It's things like that before you start using these tools, it's incumbent upon yourself to protect your family's financial future, to know what you're doing. When you drive a car, it's not important to know how the combustion engine works, but it is important to know what the gas pedal does, the steering wheel, and the brake do. You need to know enough to protect yourself.
And this is, great advice. I know we're being manipulated by technology left and right. I think we all can agree. Even, my fans were sitting there, and one of my fans even reported that even after my show, whatever is being said now will then come back to the people that are watching this show on Facebook, and it'll come back and they'll try and sell them a product that we were just discussing. Hopefully they'll be buying your book, and we can talk about that.
Nothing goes away on the web. One of the things we also have to recognize is that, unfortunately, none of us are going to be known by the best things we did in our lives. We're going to be known by the 10 seconds of the worst thing we did that someone put on a clip and put it out there. And that'll hurt your future earnings potential, too. If you have some clip out there of you saying something bigoted or sexist or something insensitive, that's now going to define you, because video is very powerful.
Sure. Can you imagine if you and I had Facebook and all that when we were kids? Indeed. Yeah.
You basically brought up the point. It all requires that we all develop new senses and new skills to not screw up our lives, our financial lives, our personal lives. And we also want to leave a legacy that our children will want to see, because now everything we're doing, your great-grandkids are going to do. You don't need the photo album anymore. Your great-grandkids are going to know what great-grandma and grandpa did, because there's always going to be a digital copy of it. Keep that in mind.
That's so true. That's so true. Ken, listen, before we go, please tell people where they can get your book right now.
As they say, wherever books are sold, you can go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, any of them, selectbooks.com. You can come to my website, mercadianassetmanagement.com. If you want to reach out and continue the conversation with me, I'd be happy to do that. But it's out there. If you look for it, just Google, Don't Let Technology Crack Your Nest Egg. And the secondary title is really what I was going for, which is Rethinking Personal Finance for the Digital Age. We really need to rethink a lot of things for the digital age if we don't want to be like the geese crossing the black asphalt.
And that's actually a great example of what you were saying there, and I love it. Ken, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being on our show. Hey, would you like to come back? Because I want to hear more. I
would love to come back. Just
Ken, you're a wonderful guest. Thank you so much for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Kamen, who's going to be back on my show, because I think this has been great. Ken, thanks so much for joining us.
I look forward to a return visit.
Thank you so much. Folks, you got questions for Ken? Go ahead and email him and do all that stuff. Get a hold of him. Reminders, don't forget to listen every week on Tuesdays from 6 to 7, New York City time. That's Eastern time. We can be heard all around the world on americamatters.us. If you miss any part of the show, you can go to my Basile fans page and watch it at your convenience, or download the audio on americamatters.us. Questions? Comments? Well, the only thing you got to do, go to Basile fans. You know where I'm at. Let us know what you think. And listen, join us for next, because What's the Story is next with Janice Hermson, right after this news break. And I got to be honest with you, Ken, loved having you. Folks, we'll see you soon. This has been Basile and the Pinch of Basile. We'll be right back next week.